everybody, it's Amy Co from Snark Heart. Today coming to show you how to make and fold these darling little mini books from Snark Heart. This is my newest invention and I think you are just gonna love the heck out of these guys. There are 5 different book designs on one sheet and I've only got 4 of them made up for you because we're gonna make one of them together. So we've got funny Halloween ones and Women of the Circus, hometown kind of Wizard of Oz book. This is the funny Halloween one. So I love this. These are so cool. I love old creepy pictures and things. And then got one that's just called Flight. That's really pretty. It's just like time flies and hot air balloons fly and bees and blah blah blah. So cute little book. So let's get to it. Before I forget though, like and subscribe to this channel. It's not super duper active at the moment, but it's gonna get better because it can't be summer forever. So like I said before, this file is a printable that's got all 5 of the books. You've got the Halloween, the Christmas, which we'll be doing today, Flight, Side Chicks, which is about people from sideshows, women, that is, from sideshows, and a hometown Wizard of Oz. So as you can see, it's got little lines here between each of them. And this is going to be where we manually score this. We don't have to use a Cricut or anything for it. And you don't have to use your laser either, or you don't even have to have a laser. Isn't that great? So I've already pre-scored most of these. You can kind of see, yeah, you probably can't see. I've already went and pre-scored because you don't need to watch me do 6,000 of these, but I have 2 left to do. And I'm just going to take a ruler. It doesn't have to be a metal ruler. This is just what I had handy. And I take and line that up with all my little hash marks here. And then I just use a stylus with a ball tip. There's a really pointy tip. We don't want that. And there's a little less pointy tip. You could probably use the edge of a butter knife if you didn't have one, but this is a really handy tool to have and they're super cheap. So what we don't want to do is we don't want to come in here and press as hard as we can and like rip up the paper. That's definitely not our goal. So our goal is just to go and kind of mark along here, kind of pressing moderately, and create a little indentation. So when we go to fold these up, they're nice and neat. And doing this again, right up at the cover. Now you'll see there aren't hash marks here along the spines because when we make these, we want the spine to be just a little bit rounded. So there's no like issues with like the ink bending. And also we want to have kind of a rounded spine like actual books have. I hope you can kind of see that rounded there. That's something I like to use to make them look a little more realistic. Okay, so at this point, you can either use a paper trimmer like this, which is a Fiskars brand. I've used these for years and years, and they're absolutely wonderful and handy. It has a little blade that slides up and down. But if you don't have one, you don't have to go out and invest. You can even use handy dandy scissors. So let's go over with the trimmer first, and then I'll show you some tricks and things with your scissors too, should that be the way you decide to cut these. So let's see, I'm gonna flip this around the other way just because that's the way I prefer to work with it. And then I'll zoom out a little so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, move that light. So just gonna take these and line this up at the bottom of my paper trimmer here. And there's a little tiny guide wire inside here. And I'm just gonna look and make sure that that's lined up at the top of my little page. These are nice and even. And just slide a little trimmer up like this. And lo and behold, we've cut that off. It's okay if you trim off a little too much or not quite enough. It's not super critical. So again, just sliding down just like that. And look at that, we have a cute little strip of books. Now, since these are just so little, I don't even ever really put this back to the trimmer because it's a pain in the neck. So it's just one quick snip, like so, to get those extra little ends off. So as you can see here, I didn't get the bottom exactly lined up the way I wanted. You can see some little dots there. You can go back in and do that with scissors if you'd like, or you can just leave it and not even worry too much. So I'm gonna show you a couple things. I'm gonna cut this Christmas one out so we can do this one together. So again, I just use this trimmer, press and slide. It cuts off beautifully. And let's go ahead and get the bottom of the book. And it's zipped off just perfectly. Now let's say I don't have a paper trimmer and I want to do this project still. Well, have no fear. This is an easy project to do with plain scissors. What you want to do when you're cutting something long out like this is you don't want to look right here where you're cutting. You want to look out towards the end of your scissors so you can kind of guide where everything is going. So I'm going to start over on this side, and hopefully I do this well enough on camera that I don't look like an idiot now that I just told you that part. This isn't a race. Take your time. Go slow. And again, watch the end of those scissors so you can see where you're going. Just like driving a car. You're going to look ahead, not in the rearview mirror. And then snip the end. And again, watching the very tip of my scissors to see where I'm going. Just like this. And again with the snip. So, nice strip. That's all scored, so it's going to be easy to fold. So let's go back to the Christmas one because this is really cute and I don't have an example to show you. So, and again, snip here. And this is where some of the magic begins, the folding. So I start with the inner liner cover and I fold it back against itself against the front cover of the book. And then I just carefully accordion back and forth, kind of making sure I line up the edges. Yes, you drew those lines, but sometimes they can get off just a tiny bit. And just accordion back and forth until the whole book is put together. These are very short picture books, but think of them like those fancy coffee table books from Taschen. So I'm hoping you can kind of see that we've got, we got a little book coming together nicely. And oh, that wasn't scored perfectly. Now this last page, I'm going to bend it in, but I'm not going to worry too much about the cover quite yet. Okay, so now you've got an accordion, and you can see where your book is going to go together. So what I do is I come back out here and use my most favorite glue, which seems to be missing at the moment. Oh, here it is. Yes, I know. Aileen's is going to have to put me on the payroll because I talk about it so much and I love it so much. Again, upside down so the glue stays right there, except when you let it fall over on your craft table and it's not at the end. But that's life. We'll be okay. So I use very little glue. You don't want this to turn into a soggy mess. And I just kind of barely squeeze and get the ittiest bittiest bit on there. You can kind of see that in this shine. And I just do a little, these aren't going to, again, with everything that I make, it's not something that you're going to have to worry about being hurricane proof. These aren't really necessarily for children. And they don't really bear any weight or anything like that. So you don't have to get real serious. So I've done all of those except for the last page. And put my glue top back on here. Come on. All right, good job. Now I just go back to the beginning and start accordioning them back together. Okay. Make sure they're all lined up and give it a little bit of a squish, just so all the glue gets gluey, sticky. So now notice I'm not putting glue back here in the spine because as you open and close these, you want it to be able to move freely. So then I just use, again, a little more glue on the inside of the liner page. And then I just take and line the edges up just like so. If it's not perfect, don't worry. It's not a big deal. But, I mean, that should be close enough. And if it isn't, the next step is really going to kind of hide that anyways. So here we are. And then at the end here, I just kind of gently bend the spine of the book. I don't really crease that very hard. So again, you've got that kind of rounded, jumpy little fella, rounded kind of look. And if you want to stop at this point, you have a cute little book all done and all ready. But because I'm me and I'm kind of extra, I'm going to go one step further and I'm going to use some Distress Inks by Tim Holtz to make this look a little older. So I have just been buying these little tiny square distress inks that come in lots and lots of little colors. I don't use enough of them that really warrant spending all the money on the big pads. I'll get back to you if it looks like I need, I need to refill really often. But as it is right now, I'm only using these teeny tiny ones. You can pick up a set of them, pretty affordable, and you don't have to get all of them. Quite honestly, I typically just use the browns anyways. So, and then I use these little inky daubers, and this is what's going to take it from looking like a little printed book to something that really looks real. So I am going to use the one color that says tea dye right now, and this little dauber. As you can see, it's already been used before. It fits right over my finger. I'm going to tap it on my stamp pad. I don't need to load it up too much, too crazy. I'm just going to gently rub it on the edges so it doesn't look like bright white paper. Now, of course, you could print this on off-white paper, but whoever remembers that? I don't. So, dab, dab, dab. And now it's kind of looking like it's an old family album. Kind of separates the men from the boys, kind of, if that's a thing. And so again, I'm just kind of doing this on the inside of the book so it has that look of aged and lovedness. And I'm not going to do the whole book, but you get the idea here. So that's it. That's how quick and fun and easy these little guys are. You just glue and fold and life is good. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe and head over to my Facebook group if you aren't already a member there. Have a great day, everybody.